Hi, I'm Leslie Laplace, Fitness Manager at Goodwin House Alexandria. And today I'm going to be going over some core moves that you can do to help strengthen the core area so that you have more stability. You can strengthen your back as well. I'm going to do some standing, some seated, and then I'm going to go down to the floor. So you'll have those exercises that are appropriate for you. Remember that this does not take the place of seeing a doctor if you're having issues. I'm not diagnosing anything, but if you just want to start a core program to strengthen and stabilize, you may want to give some of these a try. Always remember to work within your limitations and to never move into pain. So the first thing I want to go over is if you read the article, is kind of some pelvic floor, an exercise for the pelvic floor. So what how I like to cue sometimes when I'm working with residents is I think of from like belly button down. We want to engage those muscles that help us control our bladder and urination, as well as any bowel movements. So, and it does assist with sexual function. So what you want to think about is kind of an elevator. You know how an elevator can go up, kind of pulling up, and then we'll let it go, and that elevator will come down. These can be done anywhere. You can do them standing, seated, or lying down. So if you need to sit, you can sit. If you want to do these lying down, you can lie down. So what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze and draw in those muscles. Think about when you need to urinate, you empty your bladder and you're not quite ready or you can't get to it in time. You try to control that flow. So you're going to squeeze those muscles and squeeze the ones where you feel like you're going to have a bowel movement. And think about pulling up. So you're taking these muscles, pulling them up, and then we're going to release them. And we're going to just relax for a few minutes before we repeat it again. So there shouldn't be any movement in your body. It's just a very internal movement. So you should feel, you can feel this inside. So let's do this again. We want to squeeze the muscles, again, down in our pelvic area that control our bladder and our bowels, lifting up and then releasing. So again, you want to feel like there's a lift that's going on. The other thing you want to do is make sure that you keep breathing. We don't want to hold our breath. Okay, so try it again. And nothing, your body should not, your whole body should not be tense. You really want to concentrate this movement down in your lower abdomen area, in your pelvic area. Okay, so just one way of trying to strengthen those muscles is just drawing in those muscles, holding them, and then releasing them, let them relax, and then do it again. Okay? The next one is, and I'll try to remember to show you down on the floor as well, is finding neutral spine. So when I talk about neutral spine, you may see a lot of people who have a very swayed back, or they're hunched over and their pelvis is tilted in, posterior tilt, kind of pushing the back out. So what we want to do is to find our neutral spine, is to kind of do those movements, tuck your pelvis under, pull your belly button in, and this may be a little easier doing lying down because we can push our lower back into the floor. Now we're going to stand up and kind of push our butt back, kind of tilting your pelvis forward a little bit, pushing your belly button. So really over-exaggerating. If we do it again, pull that belly button in, and then tilt the pelvis, and then sticking your butt kind of back. In between is neutral spine, where you have that nice natural curve in your back. And right here, we want to kind of draw in, bracing our midsection. So think about, I call it the girdle. You have your girdle all the way around here. And think about if you need to brace, like somebody's coming at you for some reason, and you want to get prepared for it. So you just tighten up your belly button, kind of tighten up everything in between, and then you can release. That helps to engage your spinal stabilizers. So we're engaging some of the muscles in the back along the spine, and all the front as well. So this helps prepare for movements, and it also protects your lower back. All right? So when I talk about this kind of engaging that core, I want you to think about just kind of getting your girdle going. So pulling in that belly button, and then we can relax. This same maneuver we want to use when we're lifting or carrying anything, so that we're protecting our lower back, stabilizing our body, okay? So the first exercises we're going to go over, I'm going to do standing. So of course, always make sure you have a chair nearby for balance. And then I'll go through all of these in a seated position. So the first ones are going to be a crunch. And we're going to just take our, this way you can hold on. We're going to have our hand at our ear, or hand on our shoulder, and we're just going to lift the same side leg up and bring it up. So from the side, it's going to look like this. So notice that I'm not bending all the way forward, okay? What I'm doing is I'm just getting a little bit of a kind of coming forward to that knee, but I'm focusing on lifting the knee. So when I do this, as I lift my leg, I am getting that, I'm drawing in my core, I'm tightening everything around, and that's protecting my lower back as I lift my leg. So all of these, for this, you could do 10 to 15, and then we do the same, the other side. What we do on one side, we need to do on the other, okay? So just like this. So we're going to go through just a few of each of these. The variation is to work the obliques. Obliques are here on the sides, and we're going to go across the body. So again, hand can be at your ear, hand can be on your shoulder, and we're going to lift I'm going to lift my left leg, and I'm going to slightly rotate towards the knee. Again, I'm not bending forward, I'm just turning my shoulders and my head. Doing these standing, you're also going to get a little bit of a balance workout. So we want to make sure that we turn our shoulders and our head at the same time. So of course, I'm going to do the other side. So this is hand on the shoulder, hand can be at the ear. Try to keep your elbow back and just rotate that shoulder, okay? All right, and breathe. Remember to breathe. It's hard to talk and do all these at the same time. The next one is you can do these without weights. If you have a weight at home, or if you get a can of food, usually if it's a 16 ounce, so that's a pound, you can use that as well. A milk jug or a water jug, and you can do a band. So I'm going to show you, I'll do one side with a band and one side with a weight. remembering that you can do this without weights as well. So if you have a band, I'm going to step on the band, and I'm going to grab the band so that there's tension on it here, okay? So you don't want it slack or you're not going to get any resistance. So we want to pull that band and we're going to just create some tension. And how much tension is really up to you. You can try it. If it's too hard, give yourself more band. Same thing. You can have your hand at your ear, you can have your hand on your shoulder, or you can just slide your hand down your leg. The key is to not fall forward. You want to stay upright. And all we're going to do, so I'm going to slide my hand down, is I'm going to come down reaching with my left hand, my left hand, reaching. You're going to feel the resistance, and then I'm going to come up, all right? So you want to resist the pull of the band. You don't want to just snap back up, all right? So we want to come over. Focus on using your muscles on the side to create the movement. So again, I'm not falling forward, I'm just going side to side. Okay? So when I'm down here, I'm going to focus, squeeze these muscles to pull back up. Okay? Again, you don't want to use the lower back. How far down or to the side you go is really all up to what you can do. Never move into pain. So of course we got to do the other side, and I'm going to use a weight for that one. So same thing, if you have a weight or you can get a can of food, you're going to hold it in your hand, standing up nice and straight. All right, and I'm going to go to the side this time, and you're just going to bend to the side, and again, coming back up. So you can see I'm staying up nice and straight. I'm not falling forward or backward. And I'm just going to go to the side and come up. Focusing now on pulling up through my left side. So you can feel your core working here, right? You can feel that side, all right? Okay. Next, we're going to do some leg raises. So again, make sure you have something to hold on to, a counter, a table, a chair. We're going to stand up nice and straight. Standing up nice and straight, we always want to think about lifting our chest up. Imagine that there's a string at the top of your head and it's just pulling you up, okay? And we're going to start with our right leg, and we're just going to lift this leg off of the floor. No need to bring it all the way up. Maybe about 4 to 6 inches. And the idea here is, and then we'll let it down, the idea is to, as you lift the leg, tighten up. Pull that belly button in as you're lifting. That's protecting that lower back. And keep your hips level. So we don't want to, so you can see my hip, my other hip, my left hip kind of hiking up. We want to stay up nice and straight. Keep our pelvis nice and level and even. So you can feel everything working through your midsection. And we always stay up straight. No need to stand here and watch in a bent over position, right? We know what our leg is doing. And let's switch legs. So same thing. Hopefully I'm standing up nice and straight, not letting my hips shift. Again, lifting the leg, pulling that, tightening up your core, pulling that belly button in, pause, and always let it down with control. So that takes a lot of effort and a lot of work. And just let it down. Good. All right. Make sure you're breathing. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose and out. Good. All right. So the next one, which is wood chops, we can do, I did. I'm going to show you using 3 different things. You can use a weight, a band, and a ball. If you have none of these, you can grab a pillow or something. Again, a can of food, a small can of food is fine. So since it's here, I'm going to start with a weight. And wood chops, if you have osteoporosis, I don't recommend it just because you have a little bit of bending and rotating at the same time. So be very, very careful with this if you have that, all right? But if anybody out there is still playing tennis or golf, this is a good move, all right? Because both of those games require rotational movements, all right? So you're going to hold, if you have a weight or a can of food, you're going to hold it in your hands. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it down by my knee. I'm not going to come down really far. I'm going to take it down, okay? Abs engaged, so nice and tight. And I'm going to bring it up, swing it up, and I'm going to pivot on my back foot, lifting this up. So you're also going to work shoulders a little bit. Again, and then you're going to take it down. And we're going to bring it up. Make sure you're turning your shoulders. Good. So you can feel right here, I have a little rotation going, a little twist. So remember, our body was meant to move in many different directions. So I'm going to show you now. You can do the same thing with a ball. So just swap the ball in for the weight. I'll show you with the band. So our body was meant to move forward, backward, sideways, and rotate. As we get older, we tend to just move forward and backward. So it's very important to practice these movements so that if you ever have to make it, that you don't hurt yourself, okay? All right, so let me just make sure I get this on the right side. I'm going to step on it, on the band with my, because I'm now going up this direction, I'm going to step on with my right foot. I think I'm doing this right. No, I'm going to do both legs. I need to have both legs on to hold this. Same thing, grabbing the band. You're going to come down. Now the band may be a little, you may have to do one or two to get your hands in the right spot with the band so that you have tension right here and then you're coming down. So it's going to go a little slack and then you're coming down. So we're on this one, we're not pivoting, but we're still turning our shoulders, just like this. Okay? So if you're a golfer, still, the one with the weight or holding a ball or a can of food is really good because for a golfer, you have to, when you swing, you've got to turn and face the target. So this is really good at just getting you rotating, getting your toe up. So that'll be my one piece of golf advice to you. All right, next, last one, and then we'll do seated, is deadlifts. Now you can use a band or weights. Okay, so I'm going to use a band here. I only brought one weight out, but I'll still show you how you can use weights. So deadlifts are really good for working your hamstrings, the back of the legs. It's good for building up some back strength and your core, because you've got to get your core engaged when you come over. So I'm going to first do without the band so that you can see what it looks like. We're going to stand up straight. All right, make sure you're not bent over, your chest is lifted, head is over, your ears are over your shoulders, and we're just going to start by pushing our hips back, and we're going into that hinging movement. So a hinge is where we're not bending, we move right here at the hips. So I'm going to start pushing my hips back, and how far forward you come is, again, a matter of what your capabilities are. A lot of people don't have the flexibility in the hamstrings, but here your belly button is pulled in. You're very tight. You're supporting your lower back. And then to come up, you're going to squeeze the back of your legs and you're going to come up. Okay, I'm going to do it one more time, no weights. So if you've never done this movement before, I would recommend that you do it with nothing, no resistance, and just get the movement down, see how you feel. Make the movement a little bit smaller, go right to here, focusing on making sure you're hinging, your abs are tight, and then squeezing the back of your legs to come up. So again, one more time, pushing my hips back, keeping my head in line with my spine, squeeze the back of your legs, and come up. So, if you've got a band, you're going to step on the band, right in the middle, make sure your feet are even. You're going to stand up straight, and then you're going to go into your movement. I like to give just a little bend in my knees as I'm coming forward. Now, squeeze the back of the leg as you stand up. You can always adjust how much tension you have on the band. Just like that. Keeping your head in line with your spine. Your head moves with your body. Make sure your abs are tight as you come forward. Pull your belly button in towards your spine. And then pull up from your belly button. Relax. Good. Let me show you using a weight. So if you have a set of weights at home, you can hold a weight in each hand and do the same thing. You can hold one weight or 2 cans of food. So if you have just one weight, same thing. Your arms really, they're just here to hold the weight or the band. So you're not doing anything, you're just going to let them come down. Now remember, belly button pulled in, squeeze the back of your legs, pull up from the back, keeping your abs tight till you stand up. And don't feel like you have to come to parallel. Again, even a little bit right to here, and you're going to come up. You're still engaging your core, you're still working your hamstrings. So let's go through these all in a seated position. Okay, whoops. So the same thing, our crunches. Hopefully I'm in. Oops. Okay, crunches. We want to sit on the edge of our seat. So I always have people in class sit on the edge of their seat on a chair when you're exercising. When very few times do I have them sit back. When you sit back, you just don't have the freedom of movement. You've got all the seat to contend with and the arms. So sitting forward, same thing. First we're going to start with a crunch. So we're going to do same side, leg and arm. So as I lift my knee, I'm pulling in that belly button. I'm tightening up. I've got my girdle on and I'm using it. Okay? And of course we do the other side. And I'm not bending. Notice that I'm not bending all the way forward. All right? Cross crunches. So you can do all one side, all your reps, or you can alternate. Okay? So it's a little easier sitting down if you have balance issues. So you can have your hands at your ears, on your shoulders, and you can also cross them. And then we're going to take elbow to opposite knee. Rotate your shoulder. And again, as you're lifting this leg, abs need to be tight. Pull in that belly button. Kind of draw it in towards your spine. Okay? And breathe. Okay, side bends. So same thing with weight. You can do it with the weight, sitting on the edge. And you can come down and up. Good. You're going to go down, pulling up from your left side. Again, feel free, you can grab a can or a milk jug. If you have an empty jug, you can fill it with water, which is nice because you can then fill it more or less depending upon how much weight you want. Good. And You can also do it without. You can just have your hands at your ears and going out to the side. But remember to stay up nice and straight. Don't fall forward. You want to do it with the band. Put your feet. Sometimes it's a little harder with the here. And then again, holding and bend to the side. So you can do the same thing, then you would switch sides, all right? Your leg raises, again, you're going to sit on the edge of the seat, leg extended, lift it up a few inches. The key here is when you're lifting your leg that you don't fall backward, okay? So one of the other reasons why I want people to sit forward in their chair is because then you're not relying on the chair back. You have to use your core muscles to keep yourself upright. So when you lift this leg, you're tightening everything up, you're pulling in your belly button, right? And you're not falling backward. You're stabilizing your upper body, and then relax. And then do it again. You're lifting up and down. Let's do the other side. So up, try to stay upright. For a lot of people this is hard because you haven't built up that core strength, and you may find yourself that you have to come backward. So really try, as you lift, tighten up, and then lower, okay? All right, wood chops. So I'm just going to do with a weight here, and then I can show you with the ball. So if you have a ball at home, if you don't, you can always use a pillow or something. Same thing, you're going to hold the weight, you're going to take it down to the side, and then rotate up, okay? So getting a little rotation in there, turning your shoulders, so you can feel your body. As you come up, you can feel that you're rotating. So you can do the same thing with the ball. And with the band, you can use the band. Get that little rotation in there. Okay? All right. And last, for this portion, are the deadlifts. Okay, so if you have, I only have one weight. If you have two weights, you would have one in each hand, or again, two cans. Let's start this move first with no weights. And again, it starts by sitting up nice and straight, and it's all about that hinge at the hips. So you're just going to hinge forward, keeping your head in line with your spine. Pull your belly button in nice and tight, nice and tight. You're still going to focus on squeezing the back of your legs, keeping your abs tight. And how I like to think of it is I'm also pulling up from my abs. All right, relax. And let's come forward. Pull it in, abs are tight, and keep your abs tight as you come up. All right? So again, you can have weights in either hand, and if you have a band, you're going to put your feet right in the middle of the band, and then grab, sitting up nice and straight. And here, it may be that you have to really walk your hands down the band. All right, we're going to come forward, hinging forward again. Don't feel like you have to come parallel to the floor. Even just a little bit, maybe I'm about 40 degrees, and then I'm going to come back up. So if you're not feeling the resistance of the band, you can walk your hands down a little bit more. And let's come forward, pull your belly button in, and then pull up from your belly, keeping that belly button nice and tight. And come forward and up. Good. So, this was standing and seated, and next we're going to go down to the floor. So if you have a mat, you can go ahead and get a mat ready, and I'll meet you down on the floor. Okay, so we're down on the floor, and just one thing to keep in mind when we talk about our abs, there's really no lower abs, no upper abs. I mean, there is maybe a lower ab in the transverse abdominis, the TVA, but when we work our abs, we want to get a full range of motion in there as well. And we want to really make sure we're working on stabilizing our spine, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find our transverse abdominis. So we're going to lie down. Now, if you have a yoga block at home, or you could use a ball or a pillow, or if you have to get a towel, we're going to get something. I'm going to use a yoga block, and we're going to lie on our back and feet hip width apart. This out of my way. And the block is going to be right between my knees. So feet hip width apart. All right? And just putting the block in there. And let's find that neutral spine here. So as I said before, let's push your lower back to the floor so you can feel, you kind of feel you feel your pelvis move, your belly button pulls in, and now take it to the extreme on the other end. Arch your back up. Of course, don't do anything that's going to cause you pain. Pull your belly button in, push your lower back to the floor, kind of over-exaggerating this movement, and then overextend. Right in between is neutral spine. Now, for a lot of people, they have a lot of tightness in their upper back and shoulders, and they're not comfortable lying on the floor without a pillow. So make sure you have a pillow under your head to make sure that your head, you're not sitting and your chin is up to the ceiling like this. All right, so make sure you're comfortable and you're not, you're in a good position. All right, so sorry, I've got my little notes here. So what we want to do is, I want you to put your hands right on the front. You've got your hip bones. You're going to put your fingers right there. All right, and we're going to take a deep breath in. And on your exhale, drop your belly button, engage that pelvic floor. Remember that elevator lift, pull everything up. Do you feel that all tighten down there? You should feel right between the belly button and the pubic bone, a nice tight area right there. And then relax. And let's do it again. Inhale. And exhale, and tighten up, feeling right across the front. Good. Hopefully that's not causing you any pain. So that gives you a little bit more of what you can think about when you're engaging your core here. So with crunches, we're going to start with a crunch. These are not the old-time sit-ups that we used to do back in elementary school and middle school. These are very small movements. We're not coming all the way up. You can have your arms crossed. You can have your hands at your ears. But what we don't want to do is we don't want to pull our neck, and we don't want to take the chin to the chest, okay? What we want to do is peel our upper shoulders up off the mat by pulling up from our core and then coming back down. So we're going to inhale, exhale, come up, inhale down, inhale, inhale up, exhale, good, inhale down, exhale, pushing your lower back to the floor, good. Now, keeping your elbows open. If your elbows start coming forward, we tend to start pulling on our neck. So keeping our elbows wide and keeping your eyes somewhat on the ceiling and just letting your head come up with your spine. All right, so these are our crunches. Our oblique crunches, our cross crunches. Same thing as we did standing and seated. We're going to take one elbow or one shoulder if your arms are crossed, and we're going to take it towards the opposite knee. Just like that. You can alternate these, but I'm going to just do one side, and then I'm going to do the other. So notice that I'm just getting that shoulder rotated a little bit or turning towards my opposite knee. Good. Let's do the other side. Keeping your lower back connected with the floor, and every time you come up, you gotta tighten up that belly button. All right, so pull it in and then relax. So when you do that, there shouldn't be a lot of movement up in the chest area. Okay? I've done these at some point, and if you've ever been in physical therapy, bridges are wonderful for back and core and glutes. So again, legs are about hip width apart. You can always put a towel or a pillow here to keep your knees forward so that they don't fall out, and you don't want your knees coming together because we don't want to push against our knees to come up. All right? So same thing, we're going to lift our pelvis off the ground. We're going to push through the heels. We're going to squeeze our glutes and come up. Belly button nice and tight, pulled in. We are not arching our back. Shoulders stay connected to the ground, and then come on down, lowering it one vertebrae at a time. Come on up. No need to come all the way like this and arch that back. All right, we just want to come up and come down. Push through your heels, squeeze your glutes, abs are tight. The other thing is keep your pelvis stable. So we don't want one up, one down, and try not to, we don't want to have any movement here. So we're really working on our pelvic stability as well. You can have your hands down on the ground next to you, and you're just coming up. And then maybe hold for 3 seconds at the top, and then come down. And we're going to come up, squeezing those glutes, and down. Good. All right, if at any time you need to, you can pull your knees into your chest, release the back, take a deep breath in. All right. Leg raises down here. All right. So this could be a little bit difficult. This might be difficult. So I'm going to show you a couple ways of modifying it. So if you have any issues with your back arching, if you can, your legs are going to be straight out. Again, you want to make sure you're in that neutral position. So there should be a slight little arch underneath here, but nothing excessive. We're going to lift our leg up off the ground. We're not lifting it very high, and we're keeping our pelvis stable and not letting our back arch. So this is where this exercise gets hard, because for a lot of people, lifting the leg, they're going to arch their back. So as you lift, you have to stay nice and engaged, tight through your core, so that your back does not arch. You're tightening up, you're using your spinal stabilizers, and you're keeping your back in neutral position. So you've got to pull that belly button in. Now I'm going to show you, if you need to, you can bend one knee. I'm going to lift the other leg. You can bend the other knee. So it's a little easier, but if you're just starting, this might be a good option as you build up strength, and then you can try it with your legs straight. So I'm just lifting my leg off the ground, pausing, holding. As I lift, my abs are tight. And down. Good. All right. And the last one, which is a little bit, there'll be a little advanced, but I'm going to show you a regression. And remember, you don't have to do all of these. You can do the ones that work for you. Start with a few, couple of them. Work on those, build up the core strength, and then you can add on something else. The next one is called a dead bug. So you can imagine what a dead bug looks like when it's on its back. Its arms and legs are up in the air. And so arms and legs are up. You can regress. You can bring it, make it a little bit easier by dropping your legs and bending your knees, okay? This takes a lot of control in the core so that you do not arch your back. So again, please listen to your body. All right, I'm going to show you this, and then we're going to do them together in the regressed. And this will also work coordination. We're going to drop one arm and the opposite leg at the same time without letting your back arch. Now, the lower the arm and the leg go, the harder it is to maintain your neutral spine, okay? If you can only go to here, that's okay, all right? Because even right there, that little movement, I feel this. As soon as my arm and my leg start to move away from each other, I'm feeling my abs get tight. So with this movement, you've got to make sure you have your girdle on, snapped into place, pulling that belly button in and holding it. You have to continue to breathe. The regress, bend your knees. So this one, let's all do together. I'm going to drop my right arm and my left leg, so I'm just going to tap my foot down and bring it right back up. Same thing on the other side. Again, just this little movement, you're still going to feel, and if you don't want to bring your toe all the way to the floor, that's okay. So right here, I'm only dropping the leg a little bit. This movement does not take a lot to feel, all right? You can make this movement very, very small. And as I said, I wouldn't even include this in the beginning, only after you've been doing some core for a while. All right, so I think we have everything on our back. We're going to roll over onto our stomach. My hair, let me just pull this back again, get it out of my eyes. All right. So for many of you, you're already familiar with a plank. So a couple ways you can do a plank. You can do it on your forearms. So you're going to come up onto your forearms. Make sure you're up through your shoulders. We never want to do a plank where we're sunk down into our shoulders. So we want to be up. We're going to tuck our toes under. And we're going to lift our body up into a nice straight line. So we don't want to pump our hips up. We don't want to let our hips sink. This right here is not good for the back. It's a lot of strain. Coming straight and pulling in that belly button. Make it nice and tight and level. No rotating either way, okay? If this is new to you, if you've never done planks before, then you can do these on your knees. So you can come up. It's a little harder. I would say push yourself up so that your arms are straight and you're in a high plank and your knees are down. Now, a lot of times people think they're in a plank when really they're on all fours. So to be a plank, you've got to be in a nice kind of in a high plank, you're in a slanted line or when your knees are down. So you've got to walk your hands out, push your hips forward a little bit, abs are tight. From here, you can tuck your toes under and come on up to a plank. Again, you're up through the shoulders, you're not sunk down into the shoulders. Okay? All right. So a very popular movement with fitness classes, Pilates, yoga, all right? So there's the modified plank again, right here. Now, the other thing too is a side plank, and a side plank is going to work those obliques again. This is a hard move because it's really being on your shoulder. So if you have any shoulder issues, I wouldn't recommend this, okay? So you're going to and if you have a mat, we can go ahead and also roll this over, give ourselves a little bit more cushion. So I would start, I'm going to show you some regressions. Knees bent. Try not to have the knees out in front. We want the knees so that you're in somewhat of a straight line. Again, you're up through the shoulder, your elbow should be directly under your shoulder, and we're going to just lift our hips up off the ground. So we're really engaging these obliques right here, the side muscles. You can feel them tighten, and then we're going to come down. And we're going to lift up again, and we're going to come down. Now, if that starts to get easy, you can go ahead and put one leg out and come up and come down. Stay up through your shoulder. These are hard, so this might be something that you look at adding down the road. Okay. Bird dogs or quadrupeds. You're going to be on all fours. Again, you want your hands, your wrists directly under your shoulders. We're not sinking down. We stay up, so think of pushing away from the floor. Knees under the hips, and your knees are about hip width apart. So this is also a great exercise for pelvic stability and balance. So we're going to start with, I'm going to start with my right leg. I'm going to extend the leg out, and then I'm going to extend my left arm. Now the idea here is to not let your hips rotate. For a lot of people, because of balance and they don't have their core engaged, when they go in that position, they start rotating from side to side or to one side. So you have to use your core. Now I'm going to switch sides, and you're keeping your hips level. Okay, so when you come at, you want to try to hold for a few seconds. Now if this is really hard and you have a hard time balancing, then what I would recommend is just extending a leg back and focusing on keeping the hips level. So even just extending my leg, if I didn't have my core in control and really thinking about it, I might start to rotate my hips, okay? So you want to rotate, you want to extend, then you can add an arm, keeping your head in line with your spine. Really good. Abs engaged, so pulling my belly button in, and I'm not letting my back arch or, drop. Okay? Another one. We're just going to take our leg, we're just going to take the leg back, squeezing our glute, and then bring it in. So extend, So kind of like the bird dog or part of the movement, but focusing just on the leg and squeezing your glute. Stay up through your shoulders. So our glutes are very important in the core as well, and to maintaining good back health. A lot of times when our glutes aren't working properly, our back can start to take over doing work that the glutes should be doing. Okay, I'm going to do one more, and then we're going to come down to our belly. And we're going to do our last exercise. So these are Supermans or Superwomans or Superperson. But I'm just going to do the legs first. So you can just have your head down. We don't want to stay up. And we're just going to lift a leg up, squeezing from the glute, and then down. Again, making sure that your body stays nice and stable. So we're not rolling, we're not overarching. As you lift, your core is also engaged a little bit. Now let's do one more. And if you want, you can, then if that gets easy, you can lift both at the same time and down. But again, I'm not having you arch your back, okay? So you can just lift, just getting it. You can see I'm not coming up off the floor a lot, but I'm lifting from my glutes. I'm squeezing my glutes, abs are engaged, and that helps protect that lower back. But again, maybe do that, you can try both legs at the same time after you've been doing some core exercises for a while, and you know that you've been strengthening your lower back as well, and you're used to engaging your core. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I thank you, and again, if you have any issues, this does not take the place of seeing a medical doctor. If you're having any issues, please make an appointment with a doctor. They can also get you a script for some physical therapy, and they're great at helping you strengthen your core, and they can help you to strengthen and learn to stabilize as well. So thank you very much, and have a great day.